Hello ninjas and ninjettes, and welcome to a very special episode of the Exposure Ninja Digital Marketing Podcast. My name's Tim, I'm head ninja at Exposure Ninja and I'm best-selling digital marketing author. This show, as you know, is all about helping you to generate more leads and sales from your website, and the reason this episode is very special is because I'm actually not interviewing anybody today. I've been working on a completely rewritten version of our best-selling book, How to Get to the Top of Google. There is no other SEO book on the planet that has sold more copies. This book has helped literally tens of thousands of businesses get to grips with SEO, understand how to improve their website's ranking, and generate more leads and sales. We've been completely rewriting it from the ground up. The last version was a couple of years old, and we've been experimenting and doing so much stuff with our clients at Exposure Ninja that we had a bunch of new strategies and new techniques to share. The principles of SEO haven't changed, but we've included a whole bunch of new stuff which you can do to get visibility for your business and increase your ranking on Google. So what we've done in this episode is I've shared one of my favorite chapters. This chapter shows you how to get featured on the sort of websites that your competitors might be paying 5 figures, even sometimes slightly more, to get featured on. You're going to be doing it completely free of charge, okay? So this is how we've got featured on places like Forbes, Telegraph, Guardian, Inc. magazine, Entrepreneur magazine, The Times, been featured on radio, and even got one of our clients on live TV. So you'll hear exactly how to do it step by step. It's super simple. I hope you find it really useful. Don't forget, if you enjoy this, go and check out the full version of this book. You can get it on Amazon, you can get it on Kindle or paperback, and it'll be out on audiobook soon. So check out Audible and go and grab a copy there. I hope you enjoy it. Don't forget to tweet us, let us know what you think. Just tweet at Exposure Ninja when you've had a listen, and look forward to seeing you soon. Chapter 28, Inbound PR Requests. The strategies in this section can, and will if you follow them, get literally anyone into some of the world's largest publications, so long as you can pitch yourself as an expert at something. Journalists who write for large publications, including magazines like Forbes, national newspapers, are very busy people. They have tight deadlines, they don't get paid enough for their work, and they want to write the best pieces that they possibly can. Many of them are freelance, so they write for other publications too, and they'll need to write about a diverse range of topics as a result. Now, all of this puts them under a lot of pressure. Well, luckily, these journalists have us, the friendly and helpful marketers, to help them out. Imagine a journalist is approaching a deadline to submit an article about something like National Heart Month, for example. Chances are that they won't personally know too many experts on heart health to mention in their exercise. So what they might do is use a journalist inquiry service like responsesource.com or Harrow, which is Help a Reporter Out, and check out episode 93 of the Exposure Ninja Digital Marketing Podcast, where I interview Peter Shankman, its founder. Journalist inquiry services like these allow journalists to blast an inquiry out to a database of subscribers, that's you and I, who might be able to give them an expert quote to use in their articles. In return, you get featured in their article and will get a link from it to your website. Seen those fish that live on the sharks, keeping them clean by eating the bugs and the algae and stuff that live on their bodies? That's the type of relationship that you and I can have with journalists from some of the world's biggest publications. In that example, the journalist is the mighty shark and we're the scum-eating leech bugs though, but hey, marketers do what marketers gotta do. So how do journalist inquiry services work? Well, I'm going to explain the paid options, and then I'm going to explain how you don't really have to use any of this and you can just use Twitter instead. When you sign up for a service like ResponseSource, you'll choose the categories that you want to receive inquiries in. For example, business and finance, food and drink, or motoring. Each category has its own annual price, and a subscription gets you on the list for all the inquiries in that category. Once you're subscribed, you'll receive an email notification every time a journalist submits an inquiry, and it'll look like this. Media outlet, Prima. Media outlet website, prima.co.uk. Freelance journalist, Fiona Ford. Inquiry, short summary. Tips for relaxation. The query says, "Hi all, I'm writing a piece on how to relax over the summer, and I'm looking for tips and suggestions from women 30 and above can relate to. I'm after anything and everything, so whether it's scheduling time to meditate, getting a great night's sleep, lowering blood pressure, I'm open to all ideas but would love to hear from you. As ever, we can plug websites, contacts, campaigns, etc. So please do get in touch if you're interested. All the best, Fiona. And then it says how to reply. There's an email address and Fiona's Twitter address. From this inquiry, we can see the publication, Prima in this case, the name of the journalist and a link to her profile on the response source website. Remember that she's a freelancer. It said freelance journalist. So this means that Fiona writes for other publications too. A successful contribution could therefore lead to features in other places as well, which could create more high quality links for us. The deadline given in this email is a very strict one. So strict, in fact, that if you respond to the email after this deadline, the emails will actually bounce back. Notice also how the query says, as ever, we can plug websites, contacts, campaigns, etc. This means that we'll get a link. You'll also see the journalist's Twitter handle, @FionaJourno. One of the few very valuable uses for Twitter is outreach, as it's a social network used most frequently by journalists. Follow them, like their posts, and contribute when you can. More on how to do that shortly. So let's look at what to do when you get an inquiry which is right for your business from a journalist inquiry service like this. Remember that this is a sales activity like any other, so the first thing you want to do is understand the prospect. This journalist is busy, time pressured, and about to be deluged with 200 emails from people just like you. So sending them an email that says, "Hi Fiona, I'd love to contribute. Could you tell me a little bit more?" will get about as much response as writing to Google and asking for ranking. You want to give this person everything that they need as concisely as possible and as fast as possible. Imagine yourself as the gourmet chef preparing an irresistible bite-sized meal that your patrons can't help but sample. Here's an excellent response to a journalist inquiry written by one of our ninjas, Luke. He's a content marketing genius. Feel free to swipe and deploy at will. "Hi Fiona, I represent Peter Lemon, an experienced personal trainer. He has the following relaxation tips. There's a widespread misconception that suggests that in order to relax, you have to rest. Actually, physical exercise brings about amazing feelings of relaxation. This is because exercise is the key to reducing the body's stress hormones, notably adrenaline and cortisol. Just as importantly, exercise is linked with the production of feel-good endorphins, etc., etc., etc. Then he says, if you found the information useful, you can give credit to Peter Lemon, an expert trainer and founder of the Academy of Fitness Professionals, a specialist training academy offering certified industry recognized courses in the UK. All the best, Luke." Okay, so notice here how Luke gave the entire tip in his response email, and he gave the bio to use in the article, and he gave the link to the business that the journalist can use if they choose. The other key here is speed. Do we get these tips approved by the client? Rarely, because time is of the essence, and if we wait 6 hours for a busy business owner to write a tip, Fiona's already had 50 tips by then, right? So she's got the article sorted. This strategy just plain works. One example of a link for this exact client using this exact strategy was in the Daily Mirror about National Heart Month, where he gave a tip about how to keep your heart healthy. Now, the Daily Mirror website has a domain authority of 91, so this type of visibility is amazing. But it also leads to greater opportunities too. One day, a BBC researcher was looking around online for a health expert to come and talk on the Victoria Derbyshire daytime TV show about the health implications of those waist trainer corsets. I don't know if you've seen them. Anyway, this researcher found an article that we had written for our client on this topic, and they got in touch to see if Peter, the client, was available to come onto the show. Well, obviously he was. So they came, picked him up, took him to Television Centre, and he was live on BBC TV on the Victoria Derbyshire show. Now, this type of coverage is self-perpetuating. As you start to get featured in more and more high authority places, it gives you a credibility that you can use in future pitches, opening doors to greater and greater opportunities. For example, next time we do outreach for this company, you say, hey, Peter's already been featured live on BBC, he's been in the Mirror. You know, it gives you certain cachet that other people doing outreach don't have yet. How to do all of this without paying for journalist inquiry services. Journalist inquiry services are great and can get you some awesome links. But if you don't fancy shelling out hundreds or thousands of pounds just to subscribe, the good news is that you don't need to. There are 2 Twitter hashtags that you can follow instead. Hashtag Journo request, that's Journo request, and hashtag PR request. Here's an example. Lizzie Anderson UK has tweeted, looking to speak to small business owners who will be affected by next week's dividend tax changes. Any suggestions? Hashtag SMEs, hashtag Journo request. Now this tweet could apply to every single business reading this book. A quick Google search can give you an opinion on the tax changes and away you go. So why might you want to reach out to Lizzie and give her an article idea? Well, if you check Lizzie Anderson UK's Twitter profile, it says business reporter at The Telegraph, particularly interested in enterprise and innovation. Okay, so we can see why we want to get on Lizzie's radar and why we might want to be featured in her article. The Telegraph website has a domain authority of 96. Awesome. Here's another example. At Alison B. Coleman tweets, what do hashtag entrepreneurs wear for work and how does it impact on creativity, productivity, winning new business? Top media op, hashtag Journo request. Top media op, my 3 favourite words. What do entrepreneurs wear for work? Again, every single business on the planet could have an opinion on this. Now, Alison actually writes for Forbes, so I decided to send something over. I tweeted, at Alison B. Coleman, dressed up despite working from home. Happy to send over quote. Email tim@exposureninja.com. She replied, just inboxed you. Now she emailed me, I replied with a quote, and 5 days later she tweeted, how you dress for work can make you more productive via @Forbes. And then a link to the article and then says, thanks @Exposure Ninja. Great, she tweeted Exposure Ninja and a link to the article that she'd written. Now, the article on the Forbes website is fantastic. It starts off talking about Mark Zuckerberg, Steve Jobs, and Richard Branson. It gives them all a paragraph between them talking about what they wear for work. Then, it gives me 3 paragraphs, including a link to Exposure Ninja. You can do this. Anyone can do this. This is a link from Forbes to the Exposure Ninja website, and it took a few tweets and a quick email. So, some quick tips before you head over to Twitter and go and do a search for hashtag Journo request. Number 1, be speedy. You usually need to reply at least within a couple hours. We have content marketing ninjas here at Exposure Ninja who spend time scouring for juicy opportunities. So you'll want to check in at least twice per day on Twitter if you don't have someone who can do this for you, i.e. Exposure Ninja. Tip 2, if you're busy, have a look at who the journalist writes for before you respond. It doesn't take loads of work to get featured, but even so, there are people out there who tweet using hashtag Journo request and hashtag PR request for all sorts of rubbish websites. Tip 3, give the journalist an angle which makes their story more interesting by finding the part of your opinion on the topic which is most likely to be of interest. Now, would Alison have published my dressed up despite working from home piece if I'd have just tweeted, hey Alison, I wear normal clothes for work? Of course not. So I wanted to give her something which was interesting, unusual, or that piqued her interest, because that's the sort of stuff that people want to include in their articles. We've used these hashtags to get featured in all sorts of places, both for us and our clients. Forbes, The Guardian, The Telegraph, Inc. magazine, all with links to ours and our clients' websites. If your competitors aren't doing this, and clue, they almost certainly aren't, it's a great way to build up your website's authority to another level. Okay, did you enjoy that? Did you find it useful? I genuinely hope that you go and check it out and go and do that for yourself, because it actually works. And don't forget, check out the full version of the book. It's called How to Get to the Top of Google. You can get it on Amazon, you can get it on Kindle, or you can get paperback version, and it will be out on Audible very soon, possibly by the time that you listen to this. So go and check it out. Let me know what you think of it. Tweet @Exposure Ninja, and I look forward to seeing you guys soon.
Thank you.